Hi everyone and welcome to another review from Colour with Claire. So today we are reviewing the beautiful book Remember by Yalzza. So this is a Korean colouring book and it is absolutely gorgeous. It also contains, as well as the line art, the full colour originals of the illustrations. So you can take those as your reference and copy over the colours, or you can just do whatever you want with your colouring page. It's totally up to you. But it's a really sweet book. I don't think it's as big as A4. It seems to be a little bit shorter. It's a really nice compact size, and it has a dust jacket that's sort of like a French flap, and there's a lot in, I believe, Korean on here. I think it's a Korean book. And hi everyone, today I'm reviewing a beautiful colouring book called Remember. It's by Yalzza and it's a Korean colouring book with 104 pages. It measures 21 by 25 centimetres. It's a nice little compact size and it's really well produced. So let's get straight into it. As you can see, we have a full colour cover and it kind of looks like it's been done in pencil. It's got that texture to it. And if we look on the back, this is all in Korean, so to be honest, I'm not sure what it says. If I manage to do the translations after this video, I'll pop them up on the screen now. We open it up and there is a French flap. And then we have the title page, which is all completely colourable. It's really thick paper, super thick paper. I wouldn't call it card, but it's definitely maybe the thickest actual paper stock I've felt in a colouring book. Again, I'll do some translations here if I can. Then we've got the book belongs to page, so you can pop your name in there with some lovely little florals bordering the page. Here we have a map, and again, I think the translations will be necessary for this, so I'll pop them on. And it looks as though we're on a journey through all of these different countries. So I guess that these are page numbers and it will be telling you which country or place the images are taken from. I guess these are translations. That's good, so I don't have to do them. So for example, the first one is Bukchon Hanok village in Seoul, Korea. I hope I'm saying that right. And then we've got Kenya, we've got Malaysia, Italy, Austria, France, Germany, Russia, Argentina. So it literally is all over the world, and that's the travel route. So it's almost like, I say, you're taking a journey with these characters. Now, something I really love about this book is the fact that it gives you some colouring tips in full colour at the beginning of the book, so that you can find each image that is on these little thumbnails throughout the book and then use these techniques in your colouring. It's also in English as well, which is super helpful. So here it's talking about sharp pencils. It's saying to colour hair or water, you should keep your pencils very sharp. To colour trees, flowers and old stones, use blunt coloured pencils. And then if you are using maybe a pastel pencil, use the flat side. So if you have like a bit of a chamfered edge on your lead, usually you can just scrub your pencil on a piece of paper or some very fine sandpaper just a couple of times, and it'll give you a flattened edge to use to make a really smooth backdrop. So then we've got colouring sky. She's saying to use light colours first, then dark, step by step. You can make clouds by using an eraser, and she says to rub from the light side to the dark side. Yeah, so you don't muddy up your lighter colours. And this goes on and on. So we've got colouring trees in the spring, summer, autumn, winter, and even at night time with a light source. We've got how to colour or shade white clothes, jeans, leather, Angora fluff, drawing lines in your dark colours, so making sure that you're getting the texture of, for example, knitwear, and then colouring the stitching as well. We've got different stripes, different patterns, and I think these are techniques for, reflections in rainwater, shadows. I used one of these shadow techniques in the page that I coloured. I'll show you, it's right at the end. And then we get into the images themselves. Now, another brilliant thing about this book is that we have the full colour original artwork here side by side with our line art, so that we can either take reference in our colours from this, or we can, we can colour it however we want really, can't we? But at least it's there to give us reference for shading and highlights, for example. So you might not want to colour your roof the same sort of browns. You might want to do some greys or some terracotta or something like that, but at least you know where the shading could go. So yeah, it really helps. So we've got this one, and it does tell you at the top of the page where we are. So we've got Shanghai in China. Now I think there's a little bit of light sourcing on this. You can see there are some areas that just have a bit of glow from the lanterns that you could probably do and emulate from this original. And the line art has been translated over really, really well. Now I'm guessing that this was drawn first and then she has coloured it in here, because it looks perfect. It doesn't look like it's been taken from a painting. It looks like she has coloured this original line art herself. That could be wrong. And I'll just keep going through so you can see. They are really fun, cute, whimsical kind of images, you know, a couple on their travels across the world. So we've got Taiwan, we've got Hong Kong. Here's where that reflection in the water and the shadows will come into play. Then we've got the Philippines underwater scene here, so that might be good for the technique shown in the front of the book that was showing you to use your chamfered edge of your pencil. I will get my words out one day. And also you've got the light source as well coming from the sun. This is in Indonesia. Doesn't this look beautiful? I'm guessing that this must actually exist. I'll have to look it up and see the photographs, but absolutely gorgeous. We've got Malaysia. So you can see we've got that sunset, the reflection on the water, all things that you've got a lot of room to play with, whether you want to use pastels, mixed media, neo colours, things like that. This one is quite a lot in shadow. So again, it's giving you the references for where the light would hit from the outside. You can see the sun is just catching on the edge of this building here, and it's catching the edge of their legs and the very edges of their body as well. We've got Iran and Kenya. You can see the giraffes are poking their heads through the windows here to have some breakfast with the couple. And we've got Turkey with all these hot air balloons. I just love the images. They're really sweet and innocent and fun and kind. That's how I'd describe them. So there's a lot of foliage and florals up here that have been done quite loosely, as you can see in the original. You could do exactly the same thing. You could even use my Posca technique, just dotting it all on, lots of greens with little bits of reds and pinks and things here and there. So I think this is the front cover, isn't it? Yeah, so again, you've got the texture of the water and also some stone here as well. Now just looking at this one, I think Yalzza has either made her own stones on this line art, or she did this first and then converted it to line art. I'm not really sure, you know. I'd love to know her process. I'll have to find out whether she's got a YouTube channel or anything like that. The colours of the water here is absolutely gorgeous. This is going through Venice in Italy. And then we've got Croatia, which is one of the only green countries at the moment that we can fly to from the UK. So yes, I was looking at flights and things, pipe dreams really. I won't be going anywhere in the near future, but it looks gorgeous. Then we've got Slovenia and Austria, so a bit of a snow scene here. Then we've got the Swiss mountains. I don't know, these are called the Alps, I think they're called the Alps. Let me just move this across, sorry if you can't see. France. I love these buildings. It almost reminds me of old Tudor England. You can get a lot of these buildings in our country. Then we've got the Eiffel Tower, of course, again showing you that they are mostly in shadow, but the little picky bits of highlights just around them helps to get that back glow. What do you call it? Glow from behind. Then we've got Barcelona in Spain. There's a lot of work to be done on this. In fact, I dare say it is the most intricate of all of the images because of the mosaic that is absolutely everywhere. And of course, all of the buildings. But as you can see, as you've got further away from the focal point, Yalzza has just added some very, very light blue on the tips of these buildings, just to give that look of, you know, slight bit of colour and depth, but You don't have to go mad on it. I think you're going to be spending enough time doing the mosaic, to be honest. Then we've got Morocco, sat on a little staircase, and all of the buildings are sort of in on each other, and it looks very old and very dainty and sweet. Then we've got Portugal. Got some balloons. You can practice colouring your highlights and shadows on round objects. We've got the London Eye in the UK, and what's interesting about this one is that you can see we have the colour of the water, but it changes through the look of the glass on the London Eye. So the colours are slightly more muted, and then you've got a bit of a border around the glass itself that just shows you are looking through glass rather than it just being completely empty of anything, which is really, really clever. We've got Amsterdam in the Netherlands. You can see he's getting ready to give her a bunch of flowers, a little surprise. We've got Denmark, Copenhagen actually in Denmark, and Germany. Really sweet images, aren't they? And then we've got the Czech Republic, Prague. Loving the little, they're almost like light. Are they lights? I think that these are lights, lampposts, and then they're reflecting back into the water. Then we've got Budapest and Poland. Moscow, loving all of this kind of, it's kind of Christmassy, isn't it? Obviously it's Christmas, they're all wearing the winter hats and things, but it's really decorative. I wonder again if this is actually something that they do in Russia. We've got St. Petersburg, so some architecture there if you wanted to colour that. Then we've got Quebec in Canada, so it looks like they're in a cabin in the woods, having a sing-along by the campfire, just sheer bliss. We've got Brooklyn Bridge in New York City on the bicycles exploring the city. They're on a cable car now in San Francisco going up those really sheer roads, and you can see all of the water in the background. And I particularly love this kind of, I don't know, it's almost like a sunspot reflection that's coming down. Then we've got Cuba. Again, light source is really important on this. And Brazil. Love all the different colour buildings in these countries. Our buildings are so boring compared. And we've got Argentina, these beautiful craggy mountains. And Queenstown, New Zealand. So they're on, again, some sort of cable car type thing. Do you call these cable cars? I know the one at San Francisco earlier was more of a vehicle, but this is what we usually call these in the UK, cable cars. And then we've got Sydney, Australia. So Sydney Harbour, and Hokkaido in Japan. So this is really fun. It's definitely got that Asian feel about it, and they're feeding each other, I think. And finally, this is the last image, and this is the one that I've coloured, as you can see. It's called Come Back Home. So they've been on their journey across the world, and finally they're back to home sweet home. I'm guessing their first home as a couple. We've got the luggage set here at the side, and he's carrying her through the threshold. Now, as you can see, I didn't take much inspiration colour-wise from the original. And I coloured this, it looks so smooth because I coloured it with alcohol markers. Now, it is kind of a one-sided book in that if you don't mind ruining the original full colour illustration, which is a shame, you can colour it with alcohol markers, which is what I did. Purely because, I don't know, I just really wanted something very smooth and quick. I think markers are really quick and pencils can take a lot longer, and I wanted to just get this done for you so that you could see a coloured example. So yeah, things that I picked up from the book technique-wise is the highlights. So you can see that I've made the edges of his trousers lighter, and of course the shadow that I talked about earlier. So I added in this shadow on the ground, just following this template somewhat. I didn't add in any shadow on the suitcases or the fence that I've just noticed, so I might have to do that. But as you can see, it's turned out really, really well. It's nice and vibrant and bright, and I used Arteza Everblend Ultra brush markers for this. So I did, of course, end up ruining the back and a little bit of the back cover as well, but I don't know whether you can see, there's just a little illustration of a carriage with a baby in it, and it says their new beginning. So, you know, from start to finish, this book is just so lovely. You know, the subject matter of the couple going on their voyage across the earth, across the world, and then coming home to their new beginning and having a little baby, setting up their family. So this is one of, I believe, 3 books by Yalzza. We've got Remember, and there's Begin Again, and then there's another one that I can't remember the name of, but I will put the link in the description to all of the different books that you can buy. Now, I got this book from June at 70 East Books. She used to have an Etsy store, but has now moved into her own website, 70eastbooks.com. She is such a lovely lady, and she always adds a few little extras. For example, this book came in this here, which is like it's like a canvas bag. It's got her stamp on it, and what came with it was something that's bent now, unfortunately. It was a little print that you can colour, and also a pen. So, you know, just little extras. It just shows that touch of something special, doesn't it, when you're ordering from you know, a small business. So I'll leave the links in the description. As I say, really hope you've enjoyed looking at this book. As I say, the paper is super thick. You'll be able to use pretty much anything you want on it, as long as you don't mind it going through to the other side. But yeah, the tooth itself is very smooth. So I think what I should do quickly before we leave is do a little bit of pencil blending, just to check, seeing as I didn't do it in pencil, because I don't want to say you can use pencils when you can't. So let me just grab a couple of colours that are going to blend quite well together. Just got pink and a deeper pink. I think that might be all I've got, actually. Okay, so I'm just going to do it here on the inside cover, because it's all the same paper all the way through. Just do a very quick blend. I don't want to give you the wrong info. Yeah, it is very smooth. So I don't think it would blend as well as something with a bit more tooth, because of course that's what pencils need to grab onto and blend. But I think you'll agree it's not too bad at all. You just won't get very many layers out of it. So if you are somebody who likes to colour lots and lots of layers, it might not be right for you. But if you love the images, buy the book, and you know, you might want to copy them onto paper that you like, copy for your own personal use, of course. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the book, and I will see you soon on Colour with Claire.